Welcome to The Real with Joseph Labman. I am Joseph Labman. Thank you for tuning in this episode of The Real, taking time out of your day to come watch this episode. I really appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe for me. I'd really appreciate that as well. That's the best way you can support this channel and help me grow my content and grow this channel to where I'd like it to be. Everybody hit the like button for me on the way in on this video today. That also helps promote this video more in the algorithms, helps grow this channel more as well. Please share this content. I would really appreciate that. My guests would as well. If you would please share this episode with someone you know that maybe is interested in the topic we're talking about today. Please leave a comment below as well. We'd love to hear your guys' feedback. You can interact with myself and the guest on the panel and the live chat as well. Whatever we're talking about, just leave a comment there in the live chat. Pop in and say hello. We'll put it on the screen for you. And yeah, without further ado, let's get to the show. Welcome back to The Real with Joseph Labman. I am Joseph Labman. Hope you guys are having a great Sunday night. Hope you're staying warm. Getting really cold here in Ohio this week. All over the country, it's gonna be brutally cold in a lot of spots. So, yeah, hope you guys are staying warm. I just got done watching the second half of the Bills-Ravens game. I feel bad for Lamar because I feel like, man, they were so close to winning that. Great team effort by the Bills. But it was unfortunate. Mark Andrews had the ball there at the end. They had a 20-yard completion, got the ball punched out, turned it over, and then at the end there for the 2-point conversion, they could have converted, and he bobbled the ball. It was unfortunate. So, yeah, I mean, two teams this weekend that I picked to go to the Super Bowl, the Lions and the Ravens, both bad games with turnovers. One team, I thought, in the Lions had a terrible game plan. Their game planning was not good. And then for the Ravens, it's just poor execution. I mean, just basic fundamental stuff there. Not being able to hold the ball. Looked like the first interception Lamar threw early in the game. That looked like the one interception, whatever it was in the first quarter. Looked like the receiver didn't run the right route, miscued, he overthrew it, and the receiver wasn't in the area. So, yeah, there goes my playoff bracket for the NFL. but I mean, I'm hopeful the Bills and the Commanders. I'd like that, or the Eagles. Either one. I just don't want the Chiefs. I'm tired of Chiefs guys. I'm chiefed out. I like Pat Mahomes, Andy Reid, but other than that, everybody else, I don't really. I'm not a Chiefs fan. I'm tired of seeing the same team every year. So hopefully the Bills win. I just want to see somebody new because I'll be honest with you guys. If the Chiefs go to the Super Bowl again, I'll talk about it, but I'm not going to be like all up in arms about it and all excited. Woohoo! I'm not. I'm no with the Chiefs. I'm chiefed out. I can't do it anymore. But I just can't. Then all the sideshow stuff too. We got to hear about. I don't got time for that. But that's not why I'm here today. I'm here today to discuss. We are the night before the eve of the national championship game between the Ohio State Buckeyes and the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Obviously, I'm a Buckeyes fan. You can see by my hat here. I have a lot of respect for Marcus Freeman. Marcus Freeman's a great coach. Marcus Freeman and Al Washington, who are both on the Notre Dame. Well, obviously, Marcus Freeman's the head coach, but Al Washington is also on the staff of Notre Dame. Both recruited somebody very close to me when they were at Cincinnati, and he went to play for them and loves both of them and speaks highly of them still. And so I got a lot of respect for Marcus Freeman and his staff and Notre Dame. Got a great team over there. They got hot at the end, and so I'm really looking forward to this matchup tomorrow night. Obviously, both head coaches, I can see by the thumbnail, which head coach is going to get their first ring tomorrow night? Who's going to get their first chip? And you guys put in the comments right now in the live chat, in the comments after the video, who do you think is going to win tomorrow night? What's your score prediction? But also, which coach will be Ryan Day or Marcus Freeman? And so a lot at stake here for both coaches. Both coaches, like I said, both looking for their first natty. Both coaches have a hell of a journeys to get here this year, especially. I think both coaches in their career, especially Ryan Day, both have had ups, both had a lot of downs as well. Came up short at times in certain games. Ryan Day, especially, I think, with the Michigan games, and then he's been to the national championship before against Alabama. You remember the Clemson game, the Georgia game. He's been this close. So, because that Georgia game that year basically was a national championship, and they were a missed field goal away from winning that. So, here he is, though. Here's Marcus Freeman as well. And so here's both their teams. I think The key matchup for me in this game for Ohio State and Notre Dame, I'll start with the offense and defense. For Ohio State's defense and Notre Dame's offense, I think if Ohio State, if the Jeremiah Love kick can get off early, and get off to a hot start, I think that's what's going to keep Notre Dame in the game. I think just because they can start to chew the clock, maybe wear down Ohio State's defense a little bit with that big old line they have. They got the really good receiver too on the outside, who's a speedster, only a sophomore, really good player. Maybe a freshman, a young player, but I think that's gonna be the Ohio State front seven's got to do a good job on him shutting down the run. If they can get after him early and make him have a slow night, I think Ohio State will um, find themselves in control of the game. But if that kid Jeremiah Love gets off to a hot start early on, Ryan Leonard starts to sneak a couple runs as well. If Notre Dame can run the ball effectively early, I think it's gonna be a pretty good game. I think it will come down to the wire because I think Notre Dame will be able to chew the clock a little bit in the first half, keep it really close, maybe force a turnover. I think they'll have a lot of momentum if they're able to do that. I think what Notre Dame has to do is control the line of scrimmage on offensive side of the ball and defense, obviously, especially the O-line. They cannot let Ohio State with Tyleik Williams, Jack Sawyer, JT Tuimoloau, Ty Hamilton. They cannot allow those guys to get off early and start getting the back there and getting tackles for loss and just dominating at the line of scrimmage, just like they did against Tennessee, just like they did against Oregon. They started dominating on the line of scrimmage, and then at the end of the Texas game, they started dominating the line of scrimmage, that D line for Ohio State. So I think the Buckeyes, that's their key, and for Notre Dame, I think Ohio State, it's going to come down to the line of scrimmage. Ohio State's D line versus Notre Dame's offensive line, and that's the matchup I see because it's going to whoever wins that matchup, I think, will dictate how close of a game it will be. Will Notre Dame, because Ohio State's obviously, I think they're 8.5-point favorite. A lot of people are picking Ohio State. They're pretty heavy favorites. Or a lot of people are picking them. So what is the betting line? Ohio State is an 8.5-point favorite. So yeah, 8.5-point favorite. I think if Notre Dame wants any shot in staying in this game, I think they have to, like I said, win the line of scrimmage early on offensively, and really get that Jeremiah Love kid off to a hot start. I think if they can do that, then I think we'll have ourselves a close game, and obviously not turn the ball over too. But I think if they allow Ohio State's D-line to get off like they have been in a lot of these playoff matchups, especially against Tennessee, especially against Oregon, they took away the run against Oregon early on, and you find yourself behind because offensively Ohio State, we know what they could do. And going to that side of the ball now with Ohio State's offense versus Notre Dame's defense, that's where we're going to come down to that. And I think if I'm Notre Dame, what I would do is dare Ohio State to run the ball. Because when Ohio State has beat itself in the past, and I say beat itself, was when they tried to go out there and prove a point and try to run the ball, and try to show that we can run the ball against anybody. Because then you start to bait them into something that they're not, which is they're a pass first team. They pass the ball to run the ball. Most teams like to run the ball to open up the pass. Ohio State's the opposite. They have to air raid the ball and throw it downfield, stretch you out vertically, make you so nervous on the perimeter, side to side, laterally, and then opens up the run up the middle because now you have to take less guys out of the box. So now you can equate numbers, you can run more RPO action, or you can just run straight, inside zone, some more gap schemes. And so if I'm Notre Dame, I'm baiting Ohio State into running the ball. I'm gonna say you can just we want you to run it. Please run it. Don't throw it, just run it. Right? Can we convince you to do what you did against Michigan? Or Michigan, that's what Michigan did. They baited Ohio State in that game into running the ball because Ohio State wanted to go out there try to prove a point, this whole toughness thing, and all this stuff, which they don't need to do. You've already proven how great you are at this playoff. Just stick to what you've been doing. And I thought Ryan Day said that today. He goes, we're going to stick to what we've been doing all along, what's worked all along. That's what we're going to continue to do. And so if I'm Ohio State, I'm not falling for the bait because according to Notre Dame's corners, they're playing man coverage. And so if you're going to play man coverage against Ohio State with Jeremiah Smith, Emeka Egbuka, and Carnell Tate, good luck, because I just don't see anybody man to man that can beat this team. I thought Texas did a good enough job with more bracket coverage, putting the safety over the top, doubling Jeremiah Smith. and it works. It was successful for most of that game. I mean, it worked. And so if I'm Notre Dame, I wouldn't run as much man. I know that's what they do. I mean, that's what they're gonna do because that's what they've done all year. But if I'm Notre Dame, you got to throw some wrinkles in that back seven. I think you got to maybe roll the safety over the top, at roll the coverage. You got to do something. It has to be some wrinkle in it. You can't just run straight man. I think Ohio State for uh, that amount of time, for 60 minutes. I don't think you can do that. Not with Jeremiah Smith. He's too damn good. And Jeremiah Smith already said, just like he did for the Oregon game, if you run man coverage, we're going at you. And so last time he said that to Oregon, you saw what the guy did. He went off for almost 150 yards and like, what was it, three touchdowns, almost all in one half. So if I'm Notre Dame, there has to be some wrinkle in there. And I think who the pass rushers for Notre Dame. Let's see who their leading sack leader is because whoever their pass rusher is as well, they really got to get some pressure on Will Howard. That's one thing not many teams have been able to do this playoff is get consistent pressure on Will Howard. And every game, he's been pretty clean in the pocket, especially in the Oregon game. He was very clean against a pretty good Oregon front seven, too. Their leading sack guy is Riley Mills, 6'5", 295 D lineman, 7.5 sacks for the year. So that's going to be really key, too. Again, going down to the line of scrimmage, which it always dictates the game always. But especially in this game with two physical schools from the North. The North plays football. I think it's going to come down to that line of scrimmage again on this side of the ball as well. Both sides, like it's all it comes down to the line of scrimmage. And so, I think though, if whether it's the Mills kid or somebody from Notre Dame, they can get some pressure on Will Howard. Things could get interesting because now if you can make Will Howard roll out of the pocket, it doesn't mean you're going to stop him because when he rolls out of the pocket, he's got receivers he can look to down the field, especially if you're in man coverage. I think if Notre Dame can get off early and start getting some pressure early on Will Howard, it'll make Ohio State adjust to where if I'm Notre Dame later on in the game, now I can run more zone if we're getting pressure and make Will Howard maybe throw it into some coverages he doesn't like or maybe force a turnover, something. And so that's what I would do. And so if I'm Ohio State, though, I'm just doing what we've been doing all along. Who could stop it? We're going man to man. Stop us. That's what I would do. Obviously, it's if like Jeremiah Smith said, you want to play man to man, have at it. Have at it. Me personally, I would love it all day too. But those are the matchups I'm looking for in this game, and I'm also looking forward to an Ohio State with Travion Henderson. Travion's had 2 home run plays the last 2 games. Well, 3 games. Every game this playoff, Travion's had a home run, either a run or a screen pass. That could be the one play that dictates the game is Travion Henderson because everyone's talking about Jeremiah Smith and the matchups I talked about. We saw like in that Texas game, it came down to that one play at the end of the half where it was just a simple little screen play. And Travion took it all the way to the house. And that might have been and that gave them the momentum for the rest of the game. So I'm looking forward to see Travion Henderson go for his 4th home run hitter touchdown in this game. I think he will. And so I think Travion will get off again in this game, one big run or screen or something again, because it's happened every game. He's so damn explosive. He's probably the fastest player offensively they have. Well, he's definitely up there if he isn't number 1. So because once he gets to the 2nd, 3rd level, he's gone. I mean, he is gone. So that's how I see it with these matchups. Like I said, if I'm Notre Dame, I would bait Ohio State into running the ball. And then if I'm Ohio State, I'm just going to keep the pocket clean, what happened, and just, go. If you're going to run man coverage, we're calling our best passes down the field. We're just going to attack you for the jump, just like we did against Oregon. And so I think the difference, though, where maybe Notre Dame can get things interesting is they can force a couple turnovers, maybe do something different in their coverage, and can Notre Dame run the ball effectively early on? Because if they can do that and play clean football and penalty free, maybe we have maybe now we have something brewing. Maybe we have a game cooking. So that's what I see in this game. It's now my prediction for the game, I got 42-24 Ohio State. I think it's close at halftime, and I think Ohio State comes out in the 3rd quarter and just goes on an avalanche. And I think they take over the second half of the game, and I think they cruise on to win their ninth national championship. I think Ryan Day gets his first ring tomorrow night. I just think the story with this team right now is just so special, and all the momentum they have. Notre Dame's a great team too. I mean, they got some great seniors as well. But something about this Ohio State team, I said it after the Tennessee game, they just have something special brewing. Just a different energy with this team, a different just chemistry. The way they responded to that Michigan game and how they responded against Tennessee, I just thought they just something different. Reminded me of 2015 when the 2015 team, remember beat Wisconsin, had all that momentum. They just looked like a different team. They went on to beat Alabama, had a big win, and they won that national championship game just rolling. And that's what I see with this Ohio State team. I just see a team that's just rolling. Um, the chemistry, the seniors, all the experience they have. Ryan Day's done his best coaching job this last month. Him and Chip Kelly and Jim Knowles, the whole staff. I just think it's their time. It's their time. And so I don't see Ohio State losing. I think, like I said, I got the win of 42-24. I think Ryan Day gets his first ring. And it's going to be a close game. I mean, like I said, Marcus Freeman's a hell of a coach. They got a really good team over there. So it's going to be a great battle. Two blue bloods, two powerhouses. It's going to be a great game. So I'm looking forward to it. He said, Parham Johnson now. He said, what's good, my dude? What's up, Parham John? Good to see you again. Buckeyes by 20. That's his prediction. Damn. That's what I got, too. Well, no, I got 18 by 18, but almost 20. So we're in the same ballpark. But, yeah, good to see you, Parham John. But, yeah, so Buckeyes by 20. Put your predictions in the chat right now, everybody. Let's see what your keep them coming in. Let's see what your predictions are. And I'm really curious to see what that's going to be because some people may have it a closer game. Some people may have a blowout. I don't know. And so I'm really curious to see that. But I wanted to share this today because one thing I think is not getting highlighted enough about these two teams is the stuff they're doing off the field. Forget all we know about on the field, the game tomorrow night. But I wanted to highlight this real quick tonight before I get out of here is Ohio State's, what they've done off the field all year with their faith, led by Trayvon Henderson and guys like him, Emeka Buka, G. Scott, Will Howard, and many other guys. I can't think off the top of my head, but a lot of older guys, and they're leading this revivals on campus at times, but they're proclaiming their faith about Jesus Christ. Notre Dame as well. Brian Leonard, I thought, said it best too, how fitting these two teams are the last two teams when they've done off the field all year. Obviously, Notre Dame's a private school and they, Catholic school. So I think what they've done off the field, these two teams, has been special too and deserves more attention. And so I wanted to share this today from the press conference of both coaches, sharing why that's important to them because I thought it's really important. I want to share this. So what do you say? I'm watching as a scout tomorrow for our Browns. We need some players from OSU. Yeah, I agree. We need some players from everywhere. We need a lot, John. We need a lot, especially when I watch these other teams in the playoffs. I'm like, we really need a quarterback finally. That's number one. But yeah, we need some more good players as well from all these schools. Yeah, we'll get to that pretty soon. Obviously, go check out Professional Fan last night. He did his tight ends video. Mike did his who are the sleeper tight ends in this draft. He did his running backs as well. He's got D-line coming up next. We got you covered here on the Real Media with all your draft coverage and stuff. So stay tuned for that. We got a lot of good stuff brewing here. So, but again, here's the video I wanted to play from today at the press conference of Ryan Day and Marcus Freeman talking about why the faith aspect of their teams, why it's so important to them, why they promote it, why they allow it in their programs, and how it's helped them in their teams as well. And so I thought this was really cool here. So take a listen to this. Oops, I hit the wrong button. What am I doing here? I'm having a brain fart. Okay, there we go. All right, so here's Ryan Day and Marcus Freeman about their teams and the faith they displayed off the field all year.
Ashley Adamson, Big Ten Network. Riley Leonard made the point that the last two teams standing are also the two teams that have been the most outspoken in their faith this season. And I just wonder if each of you could offer some perspective on what you've seen from a cultural standpoint and how that's had an impact on both of your seasons.
Start with you, Coach Freeman.
Yeah, I think, when you're at Notre Dame, faith is something that's openly talked about, obviously being at a private Catholic university. And amongst our football program, it's promoted. And I'm not saying you have to be Catholic. We're saying we want our young people to grow in their faith. And when you have a leader like Riley Leonard that is very outspoken about his faith and is very intentional about putting together Bible studies and helping his peers grow in their faith, I think it's big. It's huge. It promotes a culture where you're comfortable as an individual seeking out ways to grow in your faith. And so I'm a believer and I have a strong faith and that's my personal opinion and beliefs, but I think we have a team of leaders that do a really great job of promoting and helping young people grow in their faith.
Coach Day.
Yeah, I had an opportunity to be at Boston College for 9 years and experience, what that was like and what an amazing experience going through the Jesuit education and seeing what that's like on a daily basis. All three of my children were baptized there. But then going to Ohio State and being at a state university, it's a different experience. But it's been amazing to watch this team grow spiritually. And I just think those three pillars of your body, your mind, and then your soul and spirit. And, we have Bible studies and reflections that, we have that we'll have folks come in and speak at, and we have been, for a long time. But then also, seeing our players lead them, in those moments. But then there's also times where I'll walk around the corner and I'll just see a bunch of guys in a room together that, we didn't even know about, that they're having a Bible study talking. And the impact they've made on our community, I think even nationally, is significant here. And I'm proud of where those guys have gone in their journey. And I think it's, again, a great example for some of our young players.
Come right.
I love what he said there at the end, how it's a great example for some of the young players. And, I mentioned this on my show after we beat Oregon, after Jeremiah went off in that game. And I said, I think one of the reasons why Jeremiah Smith was able to come in this year and really flourish like he did, we know the expectations he had. We knew the talent he was, right? He was a hell of a player. But I think the biggest thing for me with Jeremiah is he walked into a hell of a locker room, right? He walked into a locker room led by men. And you see guys like Trayvon Henderson. You see guys like JTT. You see guys like Jack Sawyer, G. Scott, Meko Ibuka. And the stuff they're doing off the field, Will Howard. And like you said there, it's great for our young guys. And I said that after the game. I said, why I think the biggest reason why I think Jeremiah Smith had a great year, why he'll have a successful college career, because there's been a lot of guys with talent, maybe not as talented as him, but guys who were phenoms who just didn't pan out because they went to the wrong situations. They went to the wrong places, bad leadership. They had learned bad habits, right? They wanted to just go party and do their own thing. This guy walked into a great locker room of great young men, great dudes, great men. And look how they're leading each other off the field. Look how they're leading people off the field. Look how they're showing their faith off the field. Look how they act in their post-game press conferences. Just very, I've never seen they really like this year. Not just at Ohio State, but at Notre Dame. Like what Marcus Freeman said there was awesome. All these guys, and just the faith they're sharing is at the college level this year, proclaiming their faith about Jesus Christ. And I'm a Christian as well. Yeah, and so to hear this stuff is very refreshing. It's very, it's awesome to see these guys out there, just the light they're showing, and they're not judging anybody. They're not jamming it down anybody's throats. They're just being themselves, and they're not afraid to proclaim it and share it. And I think it's been awesome. I think it deserves more spotlight. And it's why I wanted to share this tonight and show this tonight because, yeah, we're all excited about the game, and football is a great game, but this is more important. This is where to me, this is the real beauty and championships of life, is this type of work that these guys are doing off the field. Because at some point, the ball stops for everybody. At some point, you're not going to be able to throw the ball anymore. Catch it. You're not going to be able to tackle, block, catch, run. You know what I mean? Eventually, it stops for everybody. Football is just a game. But what these guys are doing off the field is the real joy and victories of life. And so I think it's awesome that we have two great coaches up here, and Ryan Day and Marcus Freeman, that promote this stuff in their locker rooms. and allow their guys to be themselves. Like you hear Ryan Day said, I'm walking down the hallway and there's guys in rooms having Bible studies I don't even know about. I think that's awesome. I think it's absolutely awesome. And I think that what we've seen this year from the college athletes and promoting this stuff and showing their faith, I think the world needs it more than ever. And they're doing it with love and with grace. They're not, like I said, they're not judging nobody. They're not jamming down anybody's throats. They're not condemning anybody. They're just showing the love that they felt from Jesus Christ, and they're sharing with other people. I mean, I thought what Trayvon Henderson said after the game was awesome. He had that personal foul penalty that was uncharacteristic of him. You know, you get in the heat of the moment. It happens. It's football. But for him to say what he said, I was on the sideline. He said I was repenting on the sideline, and I was praying. I just kept thinking about the Lord and my teammates. And he went out there, and look what he did at the end of that half. Took the ball, was it 60, 70 yards in less than 30 seconds, and a miraculous screenplay for a touchdown. I mean, you can't think of something better like that. No, it's really, it's almost supernatural the way we think about it. I mean, it was pretty cool how that played out to hear him after the game. But again, kudos to both of these coaches. Both these guys, great family men, two good men. You can see why their teams are here in the national championship. Yes, you know, you can have all the talent in the world, you can have all this and that, but you know, like I said about Jeremiah Smith, he walked into the best locker room possible this year as a freshman. These guys showed him how to be a professional, how to be a professional off the field, how to be a man, how to lead, right? What's really important in life, right? What to really chase after. And so I bet you Jeremiah Smith, 2 years from now, when Jeremiah Smith leaves Ohio State and goes to the NFL and possibly #1 pick in the draft, I bet you he'll go back and say, man, I want to give a props to those dudes from my freshman year to senior class, and they showed me the way. They paved the way, and they showed me what it's like to be not only a Buckeye, but just how to be a man in life, right? Because Jeremiah Smith's a young kid, and so if he learning those types of habits early, him and the other young guys, it's only going to make their careers so much better, right? Because they won't be focused on stuff they really shouldn't be. They'll be focused on the main thing, and it'll help them the rest of their careers. And so, I thought it was really cool. I wanted to highlight this. We'll get some comments here. We'll get a guest up here to talk about it for a second. Screw draft to the QB this year. Wait for Arch. A guy like that is once in a generation talent, although I wouldn't mind Will Howard in the third. I don't know if we'll be in position to get Arch Manning next year, to be honest with you, Parent John. I think I'm scouting the quarterbacks really heavy right now, so I'm not going to give who I would take or what I would do. But I do think they're taking a quarterback in this class. Will Howard is growing. We'll see how he looks tomorrow night. But I'll give you my take down the road of what I think they would do. Let me get some more research done, and I'm actually searching around behind the scenes too of people in the college ranks and the coaches and what their take is as well. So I'll have my final decision here pretty soon. What I think they should do, and I'll get back to you on it. But I do think they are taking a QB. Now, would I take one? I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure. I'd probably say 70% chance at least they're taking a quarterback in this draft. See, the Browns got to live from the shout out Roe. Roe's always coming with a crazy ass comment. But shout out to Ryan Day. Shout out to Marcus Freeman. Joining me now, Jersey, you there?
I'm here.
Hello. Oh, okay.
Can you hear me?
Now. Yeah, I can hear you now. But thanks for coming on the reel. He said, find the next Sebastian Janikowski. Too. Yeah. You imagine if they took a kicker or two. Would Browns fans even be surprised?
Browns.
Like, would Browns fans really? They'd be pissed. Would they really be surprised?
No.
No, I don't think they would either.
I think it's expected with this front office.
Yeah, but forget about them because we got a good team down here in Ohio. We got the Buckeyes.
Right.
So, but I don't know if you heard my opening statement there. I gave my takes on the game and some of the matchups I see. I think I said earlier about the game. I thought if the Jeremiah Love kid from Notre Dame can get off early and run the ball effectively, I think that could make the game closer. Maybe Notre Dame could chew the clock a little bit. Obviously, I think this game can come down the line of scrimmage on both sides. And then I talked about, too, if Notre Dame runs man coverage, they better have some pressure on Will Howard. I don't think anybody's really gotten really consistent pressure on Will Howard this whole playoffs. He's been pretty clean. but I picked Ohio State jersey 42-24 still, because I think at the end it's still too much. I think the game will be close to halftime. I think Ohio State has some third quarter avalanche where they just explode. But I'll get your and then I talk about you. I think you saw my take there at the end about what Ryan Day said about the. Did you see that clip with the press conference?
No, I didn't. I just now turned it on.
Well, here, give me your thoughts on the game and what your score prediction is, and then I'll play it one more time. I'm curious your thoughts about that too, about the fate side of it. We'll get to that at the end. But your who do you like in this game? What do you see?
Well, like Ohio State, if you get the same Ohio State that you've got in the last 3 games, but you might get a better Ohio State, being it's the last game. You got all those seniors. I like Ohio State big. I just don't think I don't think Notre Dame talent wise is equal anywhere. So I just think, I mean, if you look at what they did at Tennessee, what they did to Oregon, what they did to, end up beating Texas by 2 touchdowns. I don't see I don't see this game being close. If Ohio State just comes out on fire like they've been, I think it's going to be a huge victory. So I'd say score. Hell, I'm going to be surprised to see Ohio State put 50 up tomorrow.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think this is their toughest game of the playoff. I just don't think. I mean, if you look at who Notre Dame had to beat, I just don't. I just think they had an easy path. I'm not. I mean, and they're a good team, but I just think Ohio State. I just think this is going to be their best game of the playoff for 4 quarters. Oregon was really good, but then they kind of let off second half. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they knew they won the game. They just got out
Yeah.
of there.
So I just think it's going to be. And here they don't have the secondary to cover these guys. Surely not Jeremiah Smith. And if they sit there and if they actually really do call and play man coverage, it's just going to be horrible for them. I mean,
Well,
gashing.
they do have some NFL guys in that back end. They got a good safety, Xavier Watts, who might be a high end 2, maybe the first. They got some decent corners, but I don't know if they have the speed to keep up with Ohio State.
And here's the other thing: I don't know if they're going to be able to stay on the field. Their offense. I don't know. I mean, just the little bit of Notre Dame I've seen this year. Maybe I haven't seen enough of them. I don't see them. They don't have. I mean, they got great running back, but I just don't think they have enough talent on that offense at skill positions to stay on the field with Ohio State.
Yeah, Perrin Johnson isn't the running back hurt, if I'm correct. Yeah, he was hurt, but he was actually hurt going into the Penn State game too, but he ended up playing and played pretty well. But I just looked up too. I totally forgot their left tackle is out. He got hurt in that last game. He's out for the whole college football playoff. So that could be a big deal, especially with Jack Sawyer.
Well, yeah, your left tackle. That's a
And he
huge
agrees.
deal.
Yeah, that's a big deal. He says, yeah, Notre Dame had the easiest path to the chip. We had the hardest. Yeah, we had the hardest by far. Ain't no denying this Ohio State championship. They win this. You can't say it was given or anything. This was one of the most earned ones I've seen, especially for where they started.
Absolutely.
Especially for especially the circumstances they were in before the playoff.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's your first tournament style playoff, and they stacked it against Ohio State. They really tried to make it difficult for Ohio State, and I just knew before that Tennessee game, if they came on and responded and won that game, that confidence level was going to be so high. And I just think that confidence is going to be so high tomorrow that they're just going to absolutely just destroy Notre Dame. It's just not going to be, and there'll be a lot of questions like, why the hell was Notre Dame even in that game? I mean, they had an easy path. So, should it have been Ohio State, Texas, working out in a national title? I thought that was a national title game myself. So I think they're going to beat the living hell out of them.
What's your score?
I'm I'm gonna say 52 to. I think they're gonna hang over 50 points. 52 to. I'm gonna say 52. 52-17. I tell you,
how bold you are in your predictions. Like,
I don't really
they're
care,
gonna
man. That's
molly
what I
wop
think.
them. Oh, I
I
love
just,
it. I think it's great.
it's just what I don't think they can stay on the field. Notre Dame's offense, and I think they'll struggle to get 17 points. And because they can't stay on the field, Ohio State's offense is going to be out there just rolling, racking up points.
Yeah.
So,
Perrin John said that sounds about right.
I mean, I just, the way this team has played in this playoff, I mean, and this is these guys' last game, and man, it's the biggest game of their career. So, I don't think they're going to let off either.
He said Notre Dame is at Kent State, laughing emoji.
Well, here they're certainly not an elite Power 5 team.
You don't think so?
No, hell no, they're not. No, they're not.
Yeah, he
They
said
don't have talent.
I may overlook Notre Dame, but man, they haven't seen an offense like ours. Yeah, because they played Georgia with a backup quarterback too. So
And Georgia was just lousy this year.
yeah,
I mean, Georgia was just not a
they got
typical
other
Georgia
problems.
team.
Yeah,
I mean, and then they had to go down to the wire with Penn State. I mean,
yeah. I don't. Who Ohio
So-
State dominated on the line of scrimmage?
yeah,
Yeah,
the line's been playing great.
yeah, I agree. Well, I got to ask you though. Go ahead.
But the defense is just what's going to really set the tone for that game. You know what I mean? I just don't see that offense being able to stay on the field. Just a lot of three and outs, maybe some forced turnovers, hopefully. So, and it's just going to be a long night for Notre Dame.
You mentioned something though. You said we may look back at this. Your prediction's true, especially. We may look back at this and say, "Man, Notre Dame, should they really been there?" What is your thoughts, real quick? This is gonna be a topic for the off season, especially. I'm just curious. I have to ask you this since you brought it up, because we've heard it on other people's shows as well that we watch. What do you think of this format so far? The first year of this playoff bracket, how it's seeded, the seeding, and everything. Do you think it
The
needs to be
seeding,
fixed?
the seeding needs fixed. This winning your conference, look at who is Boise State, SMU. I mean, these are teams that got to buy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I that's what I don't agree with. I like 12 teams, but this seeding was a disaster. You know, I don't. I'm not too set on this. Well, you're a conference champion. I don't care. Okay, so here it proved it this year. That doesn't work. I wish they would just do a point system like they did BCS, where it's a point system. You get seeded based on points, like how they do in high school. I wish they would do it that way, because then it forces teams to play schedules during the regular season. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because they were asked that today, both coaches, and Marcus Freeman didn't want to answer because he's more focused about the game right now. But Ryan got into a little bit, and they asked him and Sarkisian this too before that game. Excuse me, about will this prevent teams from scheduling more competition in the season now? And I like Ryan. They said, we like those games early on in the season. It helps you measure up against where you are and find out where you are. And because now I think with this new format, you have an ability like Ohio State had to grow as a team. You don't have to be a perfect team every week, which is hard to do. You can actually grow as a team now, right? Grow as a program, and you saw how that helped them this year, even a team like Notre Dame as well. But I agree with you. I feel like it might diminish those games now, and I don't like that because I think those matchups early on, that's what makes the sport great. But also, you can't have teams playing the Citadel or no disrespect to any of these schools, but like Alabama State or any of these other schools that have no shot of winning against these schools, you can't have them playing these teams consistently every year in the beginning, especially in the beginning of the season when you want to get interest and traction going.
No, and you shouldn't be rewarded for it. I mean, you got I think Alabama, second to last game is what do they play? Tennessee, Chattanooga every year or something like that. I mean, that's who you're
Or the
playing.
Citadel.
I mean,
The Citadel sounds
so
like a buffet.
yeah, there should be a point system. And if that meant Ohio State didn't get in because they were playing a weak ass schedule, I'm great. I don't care. They don't deserve to be in because for me, it's the sport first. I love the sport, and I just love to see great competition. I'm addicted to competition. Like I love seeing I just love watching competition and great competition and great games. So I love the sport. I would still watch the playoff even if Ohio State's not in it. But so here, I don't want to watch teams that just played shit ass schedules all year. And I sure as hell don't want teams like SMU in and Boise State. These teams didn't even deserve to be in there. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But if they did, the 11th and 12th seed.
Here, I mean, if SMU played Alabama this year, even as a low year Alabama had in their standards, would Alabama still have won?
Yeah, they would have killed them. Here, look at this. Ohio State was 8. They don't even look like the way Ohio State's looked in the playoff. There's not a team in the country that belongs on the field with them. I mean, they look like they're damn near close to a pro team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they had them ranked 8th. Now, I get why they got the 8th. I get it. And
their only loss was by 1 on the road at the number 1 team's place.
Yeah. So you lose on the road by 1 to the number 1 team, and then you lose to your rival game at home. So I was shocked that they put them down at 8. I didn't think
I thought it was a little too far, a little too
dramatic. And then put these other teams up. So the seeding was the thing that was wrong with it. I'm getting tired of hearing about conference championships. You know what I mean? Here, stop with all of it because all the conferences are going away anyways. Eventually, it's going to be just two super conferences.
It's all about
that's all it's going to be.
Conference.
Yeah, I'm tired of this conference championship. Okay, so you're telling me the ACC champion should be in there every year? The ACC is horrible. It's a horrible conference. Yeah, I mean, Big 12. Are you kidding me? It's trash.
The Mountain
West. I mean? What's that?
Wasn't Boise in the Mountain West? What are they in?
I don't know what the hell they're in. That's how terrible. I mean, they've been a consistent program over the years, but
great. Yeah, I mean, Ashton Genty's a great player.
Yeah, I mean, over the years they've had a
they've always been a great. Yeah, they're always been yeah.
But my gosh,
they're like
they shouldn't be getting a bye. Yeah, and they're getting a bye. You know what I mean? It's just unbelievable. So yeah, the seeding needs the criteria. Maybe I don't know. I don't want all this heavy emphasis on the conference championship because I think it's just meaningless. And I really, it's just they should do it like high school, computer points, and that's how. And then you're seeded based on that.
Yeah,
it takes away all the bullshit. But see, if you do that though, it can't be manipulated. That's why they don't do it, because the way they have it set up now, they can manipulate and control matchups, and you know what I mean. So I think
what's that?
I think they would get their highest ratings if they had the top 12 teams in there based on computer points, because the points don't lie. I mean, that's what makes it. You know what I mean? That would always equal out in the playoff. They'd always create good games. So.
Yeah, Perrin John says, I think we scored twice on defense tomorrow. Same thing at pick 6. I like that. Rose says go to 64 teams.
Gosh, teams would be dead.
Yeah. He's yeah. He said, yeah, I like that method too. Equals to you. Yeah, like it's the March Madness tournament.
Well, that's yeah.
Bowling Green almost beat Penn State. They did, but it's still not. That's not the matches you want to be playing on. But there's a reason why I think Penn State. I don't know, but Penn State to me is still a tier 2 class, where tier 1 to me is like Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia, Michigan, right? Like your teams that are in there almost every year that you can pencil
Well, I
in.
wouldn't even say Michigan. I mean, I would say it's Ohio
I think
State, Alabama.
Well, Michigan the last year. I mean, I'm thinking of them last year.
Yeah, Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia.
And the year before that. I mean,
You know
I
what
think
I mean? So
Michigan's gonna be back in the mix pretty soon. They're gonna have a pretty good team here. So
yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying. There's room for like I'd love to see LSU back in there. I love like
yeah.
just you know what I mean. Great program, just been down a little bit, but
And will USC ever get back to or Oklahoma?
I don't know.
USC should be good. I don't know. I mean, there's no reason for them to be this bad for this long.
I
The
just
talent out there, and
there's
you're in
some-
LA.
well, I mean, here I don't know. Maybe it's just not a priority. Well, here it's California. You know what I mean? Good grief. That's the whole problem. It's just here. If it was that, we look at football one way, they don't. You know, they had a great program for a long time. You know what I mean? I mean, you had a lot of great players went through there because they're coming from California, and
Well, they got great.
you know, and
It's
they
probably
do,
still.
but
I think California is probably the best quarterback developed state so far. Or they got a lot of the top tier quarterbacks being developed too coming out of there.
but why does their alumni and their boosters or fan base keep letting this go on? It wouldn't go on here. It wouldn't go on in the South. You know what I mean? Texas finally got tired of it, and they're probably still tired of the shit. I mean, it's been a long time for them.
Well, look what's happened to the Lakers. That's the
It's
Lakers.
it's just a lousy state. Nobody wants to be there. I mean, everything's
Remember what the Lakers standard used to be 10 years ago?
yeah,
20
but
years
I'm just
ago?
saying here, the whole state has
But I'm
low
saying, like, you're
standards in
right.
every facet.
Well, yeah. Well,
It's garbage. I'm crying out loud. You know, guess who went out there and ruined it? LeBron James.
wow. Yeah. Well, people out there need help right now. Get the help they need too. Prayers to all people with the wildfires.
Well, that's another. Well, here I want to get started about that, but that's again,
yeah.
that tells you what's going on in California, especially Southern California, when this is the kind of shit that's allowed to go on. So it's ridiculous, but and then as far as
Pray
Oklahoma,
for the people too.
yeah, I don't. What the hell are they? I mean, gosh darn! You talk about a program that's had so much success in the last century, the last 100 years, and I mean they haven't won shit in so long.
Yeah, I feel Reed Timmer, big time Oklahoma guy. Yeah, I don't know either. He said if SMU had Eric Dickerson, they would have won by 50. But guess who's joining it? Guess who texted me and said he wanted to hop on here real quick? Can you guess?
Mike,
You there, Jersey? No, not
yeah,
Mike.
can you
He's
hear me?
driving from Alaska. Yeah, I can hear you. No, it's Joey DiBiase was on the show.
Oh, it's
You came up with a name for him. I heard
Good
him
the
on
evening,
delusional
fellas.
fan.
How we doing?
He's
What'd
he's
you
really
call
trying
him?
to get his own show. The delusional fan.
Hey, how we doing? How we doing in this great state of Ohio?
Thanks for coming on, dude.
Oh,
Thanks for
Yes,
coming on,
sir.
going
bro.
on? Thanks for having me.
He said his Lakers are about to screw me on a parlay because I picked the money line of the Lakers. Oh gosh, yeah, don't pick the Lakers. Not with JJ coaching. That's I'm gonna trade record here. But Joey, thanks for joining the show, bud. I'm gonna get into the fate side of it. Both of you guys. I already gave my my take on that. I want to hear your guys' take on that as well. I think it's pretty fitting. You're up here tonight as well, Joey, for that. But your thoughts real quick on the game. What do you see? Who do you like? Obviously, I know you're probably picking Ohio State, but what's your score? I mean, what are you looking forward to in this game? What do you think's going to happen?
I mean, I do think the Buckeyes will win. I'm not sure what the score is going to be on it. Could be close or it could be a blowout. I mean, I think Ohio State just has to keep doing what they're doing, like how you guys were saying. They need to get it to their receivers, get the ball out, and then they can get the run game going after that. But if I had to put a score on it, we'll say Ohio State 38, and Notre Dame will go 28. So kind of
38,
close,
20. All right.
but I think Ohio State will pull away in the second half.
Did you hear Jersey score prediction?
I did. Was it like 52 to nothing?
17, Bubba. Oh yeah, you know me. I like
And
to go
that could
large.
happen. That could happen. But yeah, I don't really see Ohio State losing unless they fall back into, trying to force the run game, which I think Chip Kelly's learned his mistakes from Michigan on that, and it looks like Ryan Day has saved his job. I mean, they've been playing lights out the last several games.
Yeah, I totally
We
agree
gotta
with that.
win.
I said that earlier. Yeah, I said earlier too. I said if I'm Notre Dame, I'm baiting Ohio State into running the ball, because when Ohio State beats themselves, in my opinion, is when they try to go out there and try to prove a point, like we're the tougher team, or we can run all over you and all this. Just do what you do well. You're a pass first team. You pass the ball to open up the run. You got three of the best receivers in the country, probably the best receiver, obviously number 4, who's a freshman. Just do what you do best. Don't try to be cute. Don't try to go out there and try to prove a point. Just go out there and do what you've done the whole time. Do this whole playoff. What's worked. I think the players made that. I think, like you said, Chip Kelly learned his lesson after that game. I think the players got their point across to him as well in some of those players' meetings I heard about. Like, we need to go out there and do what we do best. So he said, is Jersey related to you, Joseph? Yes, he's actually my father. Believe it or not. It's my dad.
We sound alike, don't we?
But on the show, he's known as Jersey because that's how everybody knows him. But yeah, he's actually my father. So appreciate you asking. But I thought you knew that, Parent Chat, because how many shows have you watched? I guess not. I guess we've done a good job disguising it, I guess. I don't know.
I am not related at all.
Yeah, Joey's not related, but he's great guy.
Share the same first name.
Yeah. Yeah, we're all yeah. And a fun fact, Joey and I went to high school together for 1 year and didn't even know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't know each other. We were in high school together. We were around each other, just didn't know each other. That was kind of weird looking back at that now. But yeah, how come Ryan Day looks like one of the people, one of the Village people? I don't know. But Joey, I'm curious too. But I got what was it saying? Oh yeah, I think if I'm Notre Dame, I'm trying to bait Ohio State into running the ball. But I don't know if that even works. So Ohio State's offensive line's played pretty well this playoff. I mean, Will Howard's had a pretty clean pocket most of these games. Texas got to him a little bit, but still when it mattered most, when they needed that drive, especially late in that game, he had a clean pocket, was able to deliver the ball, ran right up the field on him on that quarterback power play. Your guys' stat line for Jeremiah Smith tomorrow night. I'll start with you, Joey. What do you see? Or Dad, if you want to go first.
Well, he's certainly, after the last game, quiet game, they're not going to let that happen again. Number one, you need his production, but 2, this is the biggest game of the year. The whole world's watching. They have to get him the ball. They have to highlight him. That's part of recruiting these guys. Is you're going to be on, you're going to be on the big stage. So I think a lot of touches go to him. I'm going to say he has. I'd say he has probably, I'm going to say 7, probably around 7 catches. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go over 200 yards receiving, and then probably 3 touchdowns. I just think this dude's. And that was probably tough to be quiet in that game. You know what I mean? And they don't have the secondary. They don't have the personnel Texas has. So I just think he's going to be way too much for that team. So
I like how aggressive you are in your predictions. Like, I'm not surprised because I know who you are. I know how you are. But yeah, 52 points, 200 yards, 3 touchdowns. We're beating their ass. Like,
gosh, what do you think it's Oregon? You know what I mean? It's not. It's really. Now think about this though. it's not a big deal for that guy.
No, it's not.
I mean, this guy is an absolute monster. Like, it's not a big deal. He could be playing pro football right now. Now, if he gets 7 catches, how many yards do you think he's going to have?
Well, but 52 points, I would probably think around 200 yards.
Yeah, I'm putting all this together, but if you look at how many yards per catch he normally, if they get him 7 catches, I mean, this dude could be closing in on 200 yards, if not over. I mean, it's not surprising. I mean, the guy's an absolute just. I don't know if I've seen a guy. When you compare a guy to his peers, I don't know if I've seen a guy that dominant since like when I saw LeBron in high school for the first time. I mean, the guy is just, it's insane to watch him. And everything, it's just not just his size, it's his speed, it's his ball skills, it's his IQ, it's the way he runs his routes, it's the way he just does everything. He just don't even seem like a freshman. He don't seem like he's 18 years old. I mean, this guy plays better than most of the guys in the NFL do. So,
Yeah.
it's just amazing to watch. He's just that damn dominant.
He said if he gets 7 catches, he's getting 150, 200 yards for sure. Rule said if Krenzel was playing quarterback, they could put up 75.
Krenzel.
But what do you think, Joey? I'm gonna say 8 receptions, $180, and 2 touchdowns. I think some other guys will go off too. I'll say $180 though. Why not? I'll just go. If we're going all out tonight, I'll just go all out. Screw it.
Yeah, I'll be a little bit more on the conservative side. I think he's going to have a good game, but I think Notre Dame's going to give him everything they have, and he might be double teamed for a lot of the game. And I'll say he gets 5, 6 catches. He'll probably get close to 8 or 9 targets, maybe 10, and I mean, he can easily get 100 yards for the game, but I don't think Will Howard's going to force him the ball, but I think they're definitely going to get to him and hopefully get it to him early and then get the offense moving. But I wouldn't be surprised if Ibuka has more receiving yards at the end of the game just because of more opportunities.
Yeah, I could totally see it, actually, especially if you're playing man and they're doubling him. He's going to get a lot of – Ibuka's getting a lot of his stuff in the middle of the field. And, he runs those intermediate routes and out routes to the sideline. Yeah, I could totally see it. Or Carnell Tate might have a big game. I mean, he almost had a touchdown the last game. Still had a pretty good game. Carnell's a pretty good player himself. So, yeah, I like that.
But Jeremiah Smith should definitely be the cover of EA Sports 26 for sure, especially if Ohio State wins.
Yeah, he better.
They have to feed him the ball tomorrow, because if he goes 2 games, and especially the national title game, and he's not getting that, they got to worry about this guy hitting the portal. You know what I mean? That's how it is now. Especially a guy like that. He's on the stage. He wants the opportunity, and they have to give it to him. These are the promises that they make to these guys.
Well, and he came out publicly the other day too, like he did against before the Oregon game, and pretty much said, "You're running man, I'm going deep on you. Like I'm getting the ball." And basically, he's telling him, like, "I dare you to run man." So he's saying that publicly for the game too. So remember, he didn't say that before Texas. He said that before the Oregon game. He went out and put on an absolute clinic. So he's going to want the ball tomorrow night because he has to back up what he said. I mean, he's going to want to go out there and
he can't have 2 games. He can't have the semi game and a national title game quiet. It's just they can't let that happen. It's more than. I mean, obviously, we would just want to win national championship, but for them, these are the things they have to worry about. It's more than just this game. They have to. They got to factor in. Okay, these guys getting their touches and trying, keeping them happy, so they can't just hit the portal, go somewhere else. So these are all the things that they got to manage and worry about.
Yeah. I got 2 more game questions for you guys, and we'll get to the last segment here. Does Trayvon Henderson score another big run or screen pass again in this game?
Yes.
He's scored he's had a home run every game. I said he does. What do you think, Joey? You say Jersey.
He'll find the end zone one way or another. I think him and Judkins have to have good games, and I think they will. I think both of them will find the end zone.
All right. And my last one, what is going to be Jack Sawyer's stat line at the end of this game? Does he score another touchdown?
I don't know
Um,
about a touchdown, but I think he'll definitely have a couple sacks. Might force a fumble. But I think he'll definitely have a very strong presence on the defensive side. I don't know about a touchdown though. That'd be very impressive if he does that again.
I'd be pretty stoked. What do you think, Jersey?
I'm gonna say probably 2 sacks, like three batted balls. He's really good at that, batting down a lot of, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, forced fumble on a sack. Well, he's gonna have a big game.
I'm going to say because their left tackle's hurt, I'm going to say he has 4 sacks tomorrow night. It's his last game. He's rolling right now. He needs a draft stock as well. He's borderline. He's one more big game away from a team pulling the trigger on him in the first round, I think, because teams will get hot with it with the name, and they might just say, you know what, screw it, we'll take this kid. He was the number 1 recruit coming out in the country when he came out as well. So from Ohio, from Pickerington, I believe, or school down in Columbus. I think it was Pickerington he went to, but I think he has 4 sacks, batted pass. And then my other prediction, I just want to throw this out there. I think the senior Cody Simon gets an interception tomorrow night. The middle line, I think the linebacker gets interception as well. What did he say? He said, "I'll talk about Jeremiah Smith. He's a smart kid. He won't leave with the coaches we have. He will stay if he doesn't get that many touches, but he will put on a show for us."
Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah, talking about Jeremiah Smith, that he wouldn't leave even if he
Yeah,
didn't get a few touches.
I agree with that. I don't think he would transfer out of Ohio State, especially the way Brian Hartline has like completely transformed this wide receiver room over the last several years. I mean, Ohio State is known now is if you're a wide receiver, Ohio State is destination number 1. And even if they're not getting them the ball that much, this is the best place to be if you're a wide receiver.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I agree with that logic, but these guys are put on pedestals at a young age. They got to have it. They're addicted to it. They need it. So, and then you got to, these are all these things they got to worry about. They're just not worrying about winning this game. They're also worrying about that shit too. Sorry, but they are. So
All depends on which school can offer the most money, which probably would be Ohio State still.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, but I mean, anybody's going to pay that guy money. I mean, anybody. You know what I mean? I mean,
I don't think he leaves. I don't think he's going to leave no matter what. I think he'll have a good game tomorrow night. I mean, especially the running man. He's going to have a pretty good game. But I want to get to this real quick so we'll end up with or end here. And Joe, I'm pretty sure you're probably familiar with what's been going on off the field this year. Why you posted as well with Ohio State, with Trayvon Henderson, with G. Scott, Emeka Buka, the stuff they've been doing off the field with their faith. All 3 of us up here are obviously believers as well. And so it's been pretty awesome to see. I wanted to give it more spotlight. Obviously, I think it deserves more shine in what it's been getting, even nationally and worldwide, and even locally. But that's why I'm here. So, but I think what these guys have been doing all year has been absolutely special off the field. Football is a great game. We love it, but this is more important in life. And what these guys are doing with the revivals, the messages they're sharing. You hear Ryan Day today talk about, you're going to hear in a second. They're having Bible studies behind the scenes. We've seen the revivals on campus. And it's been all, not just Ohio State, all across college football this year. I've seen it more than any other year in my life in any sport. I've never seen anything like this. And Notre Dame as well. You've heard Riley Leonard, what he said after the game, how it's kind of fitting these two teams meet each other with the things they've all done off the field this season. And Notre Dame, those guys with Riley Leonard and others have led a great story off the field as well. So here's both the coaches today getting asked about it and their thoughts on it and how it's helped their teams and why it's great for their programs, why they allow it. And so I thought this was pretty cool. So take a listen.
Ashley Adamson, Big Ten Network. Riley Leonard made the point that the last 2 teams standing are also the 2 teams that have been the most outspoken in their faith this season. And I just wonder if each of you could offer some perspective on what you've seen from a cultural standpoint and how that's had an impact on both of your seasons.
Attention retirees, if you're
Give me 1 second. Of course, an ad plays right when I about. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that.
Start with you, Coach Freeman.
Yeah, I think, when you're at Notre Dame, faith is something that's openly talked about, obviously being at a private Catholic university. And amongst our football program, it's promoted. And I'm not saying you have to be Catholic. We're saying we want our young people to grow in their faith. And when you have a leader like Riley Leonard that is very outspoken about his faith and is very intentional about putting together Bible studies and helping his peers grow in their faith, I think it's big. It's huge. It promotes a culture where you're comfortable as an individual seeking out ways to grow in your faith. And so I'm a believer and I have a strong faith and that's my personal opinion and beliefs, but I think we have a team of leaders that do a really great job of promoting and helping young people grow in their faith.
Coach Day.
Yeah, I had an opportunity to be at Boston College for 9 years and experience, what that was like and what an amazing experience going through the Jesuit education and seeing what that's like on a daily basis. All three of my children were baptized there. But then going to Ohio State and being at a state university, it's a different experience. But it's been amazing to watch this team grow spiritually. And I just think those three pillars of your body, your mind, and then your soul and spirit. And, we have Bible studies and reflections that, we have that we'll have folks come in and speak at, and we have been, for a long time. But then also, seeing our players lead them, in those moments. But then there's also times where I'll walk around the corner and I'll just see a bunch of guys in a room together that, we didn't even know about, that they're having a Bible study talking. And the impact they've made on our community, I think even nationally, is significant here. And I'm proud of where those guys have gone in their journey. And I think it's, again, a great example for some of our young players.
So that was what those two had to say today when I asked about it. And I'll give what I said earlier real quick, guys, before I hand it over to you guys. I said earlier, I thought, number one, shout out to both of those coaches. I know a little bit about Marcus Freeman and some of his personal life, just because he recruited one of my best friends in life. Him and Al Washington is a D-line coach there. And my best friend loves Marcus Freeman, speaks highly of him, is a great guy. And a lot of what you see there is who Marcus is behind the scenes. Just a great family man, great leader. Guys love him. Like you said, our program promotes that. He promotes, growing in your faith. Ryan Day said the same thing. And I think it's really cool. And I love what Ryan Day said too about your body, your mind, soul, and spirit, how they're all connected. And obviously I preached that on the show for 2 years now and almost 3 years now, how that's helped me in my life and my journey. And I think, like you said too, how you watch a team grow spiritually. And, it reminds me of my team that won the national championship back in 2012 and how the spiritual component we had in our team as well. And we went through a lot that season. That's what held us together. And at the end of the year, we were firing all cylinders and won the whole thing. And, we had a team too. We didn't push it down anybody's throat. Like Marcus, you didn't have to be a Christian or Catholic, but we just promoted it. We did it. And guys gravitated towards it on our team, and it helped our team. And it's like Ray Lewis used to always say too in his little pregame speeches: one body, one mind, one spirit. And that's so true. And also the last thing I said too, I love what Ryan Day said there at the end about how it's helped the younger guys. And I said this after the Oregon game. I think what's helped Jeremiah Smith the most this year probably is the locker room he walked into. Guys like Trayvon Henderson, G. Scott, Emeka Buka on the offensive side of the ball, Will Howard, all proclaimed their faith, all great leaders, great guys. That he could have went to another school. We knew the phenom he was coming out, the talent, the expectations. He could have went to a bad locker room somewhere else. We've seen a lot of guys in the past who are almost as talented, as Jeremiah Smith, if not as talented. There's been a lot of phenoms in the past, but they didn't pan out because a lot of them, they went to bad programs, or they didn't turn into good guys off the field, or faltered and didn't prioritize the right things in life. And, they didn't pan out to be what they could have been. I think what's going to help this guy the rest of his career, not only his college career, is the locker room he walked into. and I think that's probably helped him more than anything this year. Why he looks like as advertised is because I think he walked into a mature locker room full of grown men who showed him what it's like to be a man off the field, not only on the field. And so I think that a guy like him is a great example for that. And I think that's what what Coach Day was alluding to there at the end of his statement. But Joey, I'll start with you. What was your thoughts on that, and just this whole thing this year with Ohio State, Notre Dame, just the stuff that's going on at the field?
Yeah, I think it's amazing. You do kind of see, I don't know if you want to call it a revival, but just a lot more athletes, particularly in football, talking about their faith, sharing their relationship with Jesus. You go back to, I think it was like early August with Ohio State football players having worship on campus. And I know Travion Henderson's been one of them, if not the main focal point on that team in terms of faith, Buka and others, as you mentioned. But it is amazing to see from what's happened in the locker room. I think before the Texas game, all those guys were, when they went onto the field, they took a knee and prayed as a team together. So I just think that really has unified the team and has taken that pressure off their back that, win or lose, Jesus gets the glory. And I think that's just amazing to see those guys come together and rally around that. And then you see it even more and more in the NFL. Like one of the Bills players, I don't know his name, after the win today, praised Jesus. You're seeing more athletes openly express that. And, I just think that's an amazing thing. I think there was a study, I can't remember what it's from, but it said that there's more like young men are becoming Christians like more than ever. And it's I'm not sure what exactly is the reason for that, but we just see it firsthand, at least in football, that these guys are talking about Jesus, expressing their faith, and that's ultimately the most important thing. If the Buckeyes lose tomorrow but still give Jesus the glory, that's the most important thing. So I think it's awesome.
Well, I think that's a great point you made there too. Is win or lose, that's the main thing. The main thing's the main thing in life, right? And they give glory. And yeah, it's funny. I want to point this out real quick too. Before I hand off to you, Jersey. During the game tonight, I saw the J.J. Watt commercial, the Ram truck commercial.
Mm-hmm.
Commercially talks about, I learned in life that it's not about. I'm kind of paraphrasing a little bit. I learned that life's not about just sacking a quarterback or winning a game or playing a game. Basically, it's about how you impact people off the field, how you impact people in life. That's the real success of life, is what he was saying. I thought that was a great little commercial he did there with Ram, and the obviously great product, but just his message there. And I think that's what these guys are showing, and I think especially the world we've been in for the last 5-10 years, and a lot of stuff that's happened in the last 5-10 years, and 5 years especially, just how a lot of people are so caught up in the world and so caught up in competition with each other, and have to live a certain way, and they got to keep up with the Joneses, and everybody's losing focus of, they're chasing worldly things, but not what's important. We've lost focus of the main thing. And I think it's great, like you said, Joey, to see these guys show who have everything. Like I heard Travion saying a podcast recently, like, you're at Ohio State, you're a star, you can have all the women, the money, and the fame and everything you want, but he said that didn't satisfy me. That kept me empty. Like, what made me whole was finding Jesus, my relationship with Jesus Christ. I mean, this guy's got the biggest platform in the world right now in college sports, and look what they're doing with it. I think it's great, because I think they're a great example of what the world needs to see more of. Those things aren't going to really matter in your life down the road. True success, like J.J. Watt said, is how you inspire others. Those are the real, and helping others, in any way. And I think it's great what these guys are doing. But Jersey, what's your thoughts on all of this?
Well, first of all, I can't tell you how much, I'm not obviously I'm not old, but I'm 47 years old. But it's just absolutely wonderful to see. I'm fortunate. I have my 25-year-old son that does these same things, that leads a podcast, that's dedicated his life to helping others and being a servant. And I get to work with some guys like Joey and Joe Zavarelli, and guys that are the same way, that lead the same way. And but it's just great to see guys and other young men, especially on these kinds of platforms and sports, having that courage to get out and do that. Because here, these last 4 years, it wasn't, you know, that's risky. You're taking some serious persecution, especially on a college campus. So, but the great thing about it is there is a revival happening, and we've known this was coming, but there's no greater place for revival to really probably start than campuses. And because there's so much, if you look on the other hand, there's a lot of indoctrination that goes on campuses, and it's happened for decades. So you know, I believe the beginning of the opposite is happening. And if you think about our culture, the American culture, there's nothing more influential in our culture than sports. And there's nothing more influential in sports than football. So to see football players doing this, and especially these guys, you know, because I watched that guy in front of the Bills after the game, that he was a linebacker, number 46. He said that same thing. You know, these guys had the courage in the beginning of the season. They're leading baptisms on campus. I mean, they're laying it all out on the line. You know what I mean? And so it's allowed other guys to say, you know what? I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to share my faith. I'm not going to force it on anyone. I don't think I'm better than anybody, but I'm going to lead by example. And hopefully, you know, others will see the joy in my heart, and they'll see how I react to things. And if I just keep my focus on Christ, you know, how things happen in abundance, you know. And so it really is. It's just, I really believe we really truly are going in the golden age of this country, and this country is going to lead the last revival in this world, to turn souls back to Christ, or to Christ. And it's just awesome to see. Again, I'm with you guys. Yeah, I want Ohio State to win tomorrow, and I want them to dominate. I want them to win big. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I think there's something more special that's going to happen during this game tomorrow, and it's just gonna be something that carries on. And it's just I can't tell you, just as a middle-aged man, just how much it really warms my heart to see young men doing this, because this is what's been needed. This is what's been needed. And for what Joey just said, more young men are turning to, you know, giving their lives to Christ. Gosh, what an unbelievable thing. And I'll say it because, like I said, I'll go back to my age. I know what Christ has done in my life. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be sitting here. I'd be dead or in prison. I've told this to numerous people. And it would have happened at a younger age. I know the path I kind of veered off on. You know, I was fortunate enough to be, you know, have a mom that took myself and my two brothers to church constantly. And, you know, and I dedicated my life to Christ when I was 7 years old. But, you know, I veered away when I got into my late teens. And, but, you know, I was never lost. He humbled me. He reeled me back in. And the Lord has given me just a wonderful, wonderful life. I don't deserve any of it, but I have a wonderful wife. I have two great kids. I have so many great co-workers, friends. He's provided for us. I've been able to raise our kids in private schools, you know, and just, you know, and all the times I've fallen short, he's always been there to lift me up. And, you know, and so, you know, I've tried to teach others. It's all about servanthood. It's like you were saying, Bud. It's all about servanthood. So J.J. Watt was saying in that commercial, it's all about servanthood. It's about, that's where true gratification is in life. And that is helping others, lifting people up, lifting the weak, you know, the people who really need it. You know, the people struggling with addiction, the people maybe just coming out of penitentiaries that are trying to integrate back into life, people that really need help, you know, so no one should be forgotten, and Christ loves everyone. And it's just great to see. Sorry I went on a rant, but I guess this is a good rant.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds like church. Rose said, when's the donation plate being passed around?
Right. Well, here, the Lord don't need our money. It's all his anyway. So, but it's it's just a testament of our faith.
Yeah, that's for sure. Amen. But yeah, I wanted to highlight that because I feel like it started to get more traction nationally as well, and so I think it means a lot to us, and I think it's cool what these guys are doing. And what he said, I didn't see his comment earlier. I'm sorry, Parent John. He said, "I wish I could have a bond like you guys and my dad. He will watch the games with me, but I have to explain to him what's happening." Oh, I got you. Parent John, are you from the United States? Parent John, are you from America? I'm just curious. Good. But well, let me know what you guys think about the game tomorrow night. What's your score prediction for we got here real quick, and who do you think is going to win? Obviously, Jersey will recap said 52-17 Ohio State. Joey said 38-28, and I said 42-24. I also said 8 receptions, 180 yards, 2 touchdowns to Jeremiah Smith. Georgia said 7 receptions, 200 yards, and 3 touchdowns to Jeremiah Smith. Joey said 6 receptions, 100 yards. Did you say a touchdown, Joey, for him?
Yeah, I will say he gets in the end zone.
We all say he scores. So
Yeah.
but we all got Ohio State winning tomorrow night by double digits at least. So it's gonna be a good night. Is Mom there? Is that who I heard?
She was, but she just walked out.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Well, Shanna, she'll probably pick Ohio State by a million. But you guys got any final words we got here?
Joe?
Go Bucks, man. I'm looking forward to the game. Should be a good one.
Go Bucks.
It'll be a
Jersey,
great
anybody?
day tomorrow.
It's going to be a great day. All day.
Be a great day. I want to give a shout out to you. Mentioned your staff earlier. I want to give a shout out to Gabe Chambers. I met Gabe. He's a fan of the show. First time I met Gabe. And another guy I went to school with when I was younger at Summit Christian. I didn't even know it. And I've had a lot of that. But Gabe, I met Gabe for the first time the other day in person. Great guy. I want to shout him out. He's a big fan of the show. He's going to be on the show too as well. He's got a great story to tell. We had a great private conversation. So I want to shout out Gabe. And so shout out to you, Gabe. But and shout out to Gergs.
Gabe.
Gergs, I'm sorry about your Lions, bud.
Tough
one yesterday, but it stinks. I mean, and Bronson, we'd be happy just to be there. We can get to at least a divisional game and win it. That'd be nice, or just get there.
Yep.
But we'll get into that here down the road. We're getting close to the draft. That's gonna be pretty wild this year. But well, Joe, I appreciate you coming on tonight, and hopefully next time you're on, will be after a Buckeyes win.
That's right. Thanks for having me.
Go Bucks.
See you, bud. Have a good day off tomorrow.
Yes, sir. I'll see you Tuesday.
All right.
See you, bro.
See you guys.
Well, Jersey, you want to tell me to like, subscribe, and share?
So everything you heard tonight, this is the show is just what the name is, the real. Everyone on here is real. No one, everyone, we want everybody to be real. So, we're trying to just the whole premises of the show, why the show was created. Joseph has shared with, if you go back, you watch some of his, watch episode 1, and I think you'll like, you'll subscribe, you'll share it. So, it's just it's great content, and it's always trying to find ways to make it grow. It's just this, like I said, the premises of the show, why it's created, and sports is just a kind of like a hobby end of it. We have fun with it, but the show's about helping others. So everybody needs some help. So you might as well like, subscribe, and share.
Yeah, like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff, and make sure you go check out Professional Fan from last night as well. Go check out Mike. He's doing his drafts analysis. Got running backs and tight ends in the draft who he likes. So go check that out and go show him some love. And yeah, go Bucks. We'll see you guys in the next one. We're out of here. Gone.